Hi, this is Adam Gusso, and this lesson is on a song called Goin' Down South by R.L. Burnside, who's one of the best known hill country blues players. He's a guitar player and he's a singer. He's obviously not a harmonica player, and in fact, this song doesn't have any harmonica in it, or should I say, the original song doesn't have any harmonica in it. What this is, it's an adaptation of a hill country classic. A hill country blues is a Mississippi blues style that's found not in the Delta, but in the part that's sort of across Highway 55 and what they call up in the hills, which is where I live. You've probably heard of R.L. Burnside and Junior Kimbrough. There's a lot of great music out there. This particular track, Goin' Down South, I'm actually going to play you a little bit, an excerpt, from an album called Too Bad Jim. That's T-O-O, Too Bad Jim, and you can find it on iTunes, which is where I found it. The lesson is appropriate. Well, here's what's interesting. I think it has basically a pretty simple line to it. So I think that advanced beginners who are starting to do the 2-draw bend, whole step bend, and the 3-draw half step or quarter step bend, the blue third, if you can do both of those, or think you're on your way to doing both of those, then this is a perfect song for you. It's, of course, also for intermediates and advanced intermediates who want to add something to the repertoire. But it's the bends that are the tricky part, and, of course, the additions that you might make to the basic melody. The tab sheet that I've got for sale with this has a basic line, a basic instrumental line, and then it has, I've got a vocal line it's basically R.L. Burnside's vocal line, but again, this is my adaptation of a hill country song to harmonica. The third line, so it's not a 12-bar blues. You'll see there's a tab sheet. It's not a 12-bar blues. This is one of the interesting things about hill country blues is often they just kind of stay on one chord. You've got the simple line up here. You've got the vocal line here with a little harp fill. And then you've got a somewhat more difficult line. I would put this it's really more in the direction of intermediate and advanced intermediate. Not technically wildly challenging, just that if you're an advanced beginner, you're going to find it a little tricky. But that first line, this is really cool stuff, and I think if you want to get deep into the blues, this is a good tune to do it with. Let me play each of these 3 parts, and the second part involves me singing, and my singing is still, we're improving on that, but we all have something we want to work on. I'm going to play it first acoustic. By the way, you need a key of A harmonica. This is R.L. Burnside. In fact, what I need to do first, I need to play you a little bit of the original tune, so you'll hear what I'm adapting it from. Hold on. So it kind of moves back and forth between the 3-hole draw, the blue third. Vocal soon.
Going down, down, I'm going down, down. I'm going down, down, I'm going down, down. The chilly wind don't blow.
So I'm going down south where the chilly winds don't blow. It really doesn't have any chord changes. It's just one chord and a groove, which makes it really good for you at the... I'm going with you, babe, I'm going with you, babe, and I don't care where you go. Obviously, a cold-hearted, nasty old blues man. But, you know, I'm singing this song these days. I think it's an incredible tune. So he's more or less in the key of E, although if you get the recording, you might find that he's a little bit flat from that, but it sounds pretty good. And so what I've done is I've started it on the 3-draw. And so here, let me just play the line. That's the line. So the beat is 1, 2, 3, 4. Now, if that's line number 1. If I put put a little bit of amplification on it, my little 5-watt amp. One more time. That's what I'm going to teach you. Now the second line, I'm going down south, I'm going down south, I'm going down south, I'm going down south. Isn't that neat? And the third line, you probably need to slow down a little bit. Now, I did that all lip pursed, and that's how it's notated, but you could tongue block it, and it sounds better, and that's how I do it. And if I amplify it and turn off the delay, I kind of like it maybe this way without the delay. So it just gives you a smackdown sound. Harp's a little sticky. Anyway, so that's what we're going to work with. Going Down South, a harmonica adaptation. Now at the end of this lesson I'm going to give you some variations that I play. I'm not going to notate them, I'm just going to show you what I do and leave it to you to try to figure that out. But I want to get you going on it, and I'm going to encourage you to play around with it. So, you ready to go to the videotape? From the videotape to the tab sheet, here we go. Okay, here we go. Now I've put It's Going Down South by R.L. Burnside, and I've put that it has a low-down hill country feel. Well, you'll have to interpret that however you'd like to interpret that. It's, in terms of rhythm, it's very much one big boom kind of downbeat. So there's nothing terribly bouncy about it. It's not really happy music. It's hill country blues. You'll notice here that we've got a little bracket and 2 dots. That means repeat. And so whatever is between the bracket and the dots should be repeated. So you can repeat this riff. I'm going to encourage you to kind of turn it into a trance thing. But it's very important that you do everything within these brackets correctly and in time. Notice underneath I have the count. So if I wanted to count through this, 1, 2, 3, 4, I'm going to count like this. 1, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Wait, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 1, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, So let's just start off with the first note, and it's important that you get a 3-hole draw bent down between a 1/2 and a 1/4 step. It's called the blue third. On the A harp, well, that would be the unbent 3. Would be a 3 draw notated like this. But when I notate a bent 3 in my tab sheets, when I notate a bent 3 in my tab sheets, without anything else, that means that it's bent down a 1/2 step, because this is the blues pitch. So if that is the unbent, now if you don't know how to bend the 3 draw, this is probably too advanced for you, and you should probably get a hold of my lesson called Bending the 3 Draw. The point is to begin to scrub a little bit of the pitch off. Baby, please don't go. So that's the pitch. And it begins with this bold statement. Blue third, 3 draw bent down a 1/4 to a 1/2 step. So just do that much. In fact, you could start, what I like to do is I like to start by making a little exercise. So forget about that one draw down there. That actually leads into the next phrase. And make a little exercise where you're just doing a bar and you're going that on the downbeat of 1 and that, the 2 draw, on the downbeat of 3. So that would sound like this. Now you'll notice, really what I should have done on this tab sheet, will you do me a favor? Will you kind of make a little squiggle, which means hold the note. I should have done that. You're supposed to hold the note. This one you hold a little bit less. Come on, folks, this is blues. Okay, once you've done that, you want to move on to the next phrase. And I'm going to encourage you to put these little things over here. I think I've fallen down on the job because really that's a phrase, and that's a phrase. Those just mean phrases. I'm going to let you play tabber on this particular tab. I think for perfection's sake I would have done that. Now you're going to, this is a pickup. This note's not stressed. It's simply a pickup that gets you into the bent 2 draw. So let's just look at what I did there. Well, let's start by forgetting about the 1 draw because that actually interrupts your timing. And just do, in fact, here's what we're going to do. I'm a firm believer in simplifying, at least when you're starting. Okay, so let's do that. Let's simplify. And we'll do that, and we'll do that. All right. Now, what's that phrase? Bend 2 draw. Now, the 2 draw, when I bend it, and when I notate it as a bend, is different than the 3 draw. Remember, the 3. Make a note to yourself if you're unsure of this. Bend 3 draw equals 1/4 to 1/2 step bend. And the bend 2 in Adam Gusso's tablature equals whole step bend. All right, well, because those are the blues pitches. And I want, for economy's sake, to just notate them without anything else around them. So that's what we're doing here. Okay. Can you get that 2-hole draw? Now the 2-hole draw with no bend is that note. Okay. You'll feel it pull and lock in. Again, I have a lesson called Bending the 2-Hole Draw. For some of you, this is no big deal. For others of you, this is crap. You can't do that. The 2-hole draw, when you pull it hard, it tends to like to lock into pretty much a whole step bend. Very different from the 3 in that case. But here's a little trick. When you release from the bent 2 to the unbent 1, you need to release all of that bending energy so that you don't flat out the 1 draw. And if you don't do that, here's what happens. You get a 1 draw bend, okay? Which you don't want. You don't want a 1 draw bend, all right? You just want a 1 draw. So practice that. It's tough. You're just releasing very quickly just as you slide onto this. But don't let the 2 up. This is the tricky part. Release only after you've are just slipping onto the 1 draw. Otherwise, you do that. That's what you want. Okay, let's take that much off. So here, one draw is serving as a kind of lead into this phrase. Can you just do that with me? And here I would say, let's make a repeat of that. You have to imagine then that that one draw is kind of coming up on the very end here. Good. That's right. Now can we put them together? Just like that. So we're just doing bars 1 and 2. Good. I like it. Okay, let's move on to the next. This is in some ways even easier than what's come before because everything's on the downbeat except the first note. And this is the same kind of lead-in. This 2 draw is very much like the 1 draw. Can you do that much? Let's tap our hands. 2, 3, 4. Now you'll note what I'm doing here when I'm sounding the repeated 3-draw bends, the repeated blue thirds, I'm actually using my tongue lightly on the roof of my mouth, and I'm kind of squeezing my mouth. It's actually a sort of way of cheating a little bit to get just that little bit of bend off the note. And then I'm going to do it when I slide to the 2. So actually, I tongue each of these 4 notes. Let's see what I do here. I don't do that. I don't tongue this one. No, I do. Actually, I do. I don't really tongue those. I certainly tongue this one. Okay, let's move on to the final phrase. And let's forget about this squiggle and the 1, and let's just start with this. Okay. The count is 1, 2, I've got a bent 2 draw, that's a whole step bend, then an unbent 2 draw, then the blue third. Remember, this is a whole step bend on the 2, a half step, a quarter step bend on the 3. Can you do that much? Let's just repeat that phrase. Let's repeat bar 4. Now, I can't stress enough how important it is to get the bends right. That's why this is a great song. It's good bending practice. Because it's so simple, the melody's not going to carry you. If you don't get these pitches right, you're not going to have anything that sounds bluesy. But if you get them right, it's going to sound amazingly bluesy per note. There's not a lot of notes here, but they really all count. Okay, now if we add in that little 1 draw, you can see it's sort of like this. And I actually do a little cough. If I do it with the amplifier, you'll hear it. Now I should stress here, since this is my adaptation, we're not trying to copy Little Walter or Sonny Boy Williamson here. How I do it's not necessarily exactly how you are going to want to do it. I'm giving you what I consider a good model. I think I've made it sound really bluesy, but I want to encourage you to explore and make it your own. Okay, so let's do all of bars 1, 2, 3, 4. This is the big test. Remember, we go, and I just love that, tolling like a bell on a church. 1, 2, 3. Let's do it slow. Oh, I didn't show you about the glissando. So what I do is I actually slide down to the 1. So I slide down from maybe the 4 draw, maybe, kind of a little grace note. Doesn't really matter. You slide down, you don't sound the 4, you just kind of go from some indeterminate place above the one draw, you are sliding down to the one draw. Now this is a subtlety. You do not need to do this. If it messes up your timing in any way, don't do it. Don't do it until you're ready for it. It sounds fine to not do it. It just sounds a little bit better when you're able to do it. But you got to have the lick working for you before you do that. So let's jog. 1, 2, 3 from the beginning. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. That time I left a glissando off. 1, 2, here we go. Again. I like it. Now that's some serious blues, isn't it? Good, I'm glad you got that much. Okay, if that's all you get, that's pretty good, but I'm charging you $5. I want a little bit more for you than that. Really. So, maybe you ought to try to sing. I'm going down south. Going down south. I'm going down south. So what's the line here? Hitting that blue third. This is a little tricky, honestly, and you're allowed to just say, you know what, I don't even want to do this part. You can do that. You can just do this, and then do this, and then some improvisations. 1, 2, 3. Oh, I left the Adam, you're losing your touch. Three draw bend, 4 blow, 3 draw bend, 4 draw bend, and release. I'm going down south. Oh, I'm going down south. I'm going down south. So you can basically just repeat bars 5 and 6. I'm going down south. I'm going down south. Going down south. Now what I've done is I've come up with a new vocal melody. This is not exactly what RL is doing. And if you want to, by the way, you can feel free to just listen to the record and copy what he's doing. I wanted to change it up slightly. So I wanted a little bit of call and response. And notice this line here is then responded to by a harp line that is pretty much the same melody. Same thing here. Here you're going to do going down south, and you're going to do this melody. Going down south. Going down south. Going down south. 5 draw, 4 draw bend. That blue third and the 2 draw. And they're all on straight on the beats. Going down south. Now this is, I love this part. It's very good to get you going on your blues singing because you're just trying to do the harmonica line you're doing. Going down south. Now when I do it in performance, I actually accelerate a little bit. I advance the spark on the vocal line and on the harp line. I actually hit the going a little bit early relative to the beat, and I like to hit the 5 draw a little bit early relative to the beat, and that would look like this. So I would go, I'll just do this part as a lead into this. Going down, I'm going down south. Going down south relative to the beat, and I like to hit the 5 draw a little bit early relative to the beat, and that would look like this. So I would go, I'll just do this part as a lead into this. Going down, I'm going down south. 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 See, I'm hitting it a little bit early. If I didn't hit it early, it would sound like this. Going down south. Going down south. It almost sounds stilted when you don't hit it early. When you do hit it early, going down south. Going down south. Okay, it just feels, don't stress on it. I would start off without advancing the spark, but after a while you might find that you want to hit a little bit early, and that's how I do it. Okay, but I haven't notated. I've notated it for you guys the easy way. Now let's move on to bars 9, 10, 11, and 12. And again, this is not a 12-bar blues here. It's one 4-bar phrase that can be repeated ad infinitum. It's a vocal phrase. It's another phrase here that could be repeated. I could have put this. I didn't. But you can feel free to repeat this. Now here, I've tied these two notes, the same two notes here, the same two notes here. This is my primitive way of recognizing that these two notes are actually, they're actually 16th notes. Da da da. They're at that tempo. But this note here, well, I think this one's a little bit longer. Anyway, these two, 1 and 2, let me do the count down below. 1 and 2, 3, and 1, 2, 3, 1 and 2, 3, and 1, 2, 3. Let me play it one time for you, and then I'll break it down. One more time. Can you follow me? Up. Let's break it down. So we're going to start with 4-draw bend to 4-draw quick and 5-draw. And that's 1 and then on 2. So the first notes, actually, those first 2 beats of bar 9. Do 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 do. So you do it after me. Do 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 do. Do 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 do. Do 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 do. Okay. Now here the timing's a little bit funky. You're going to hit the 6th blow on an upbeat, hold it over into the next beat, and then have these 2 little notes here kind of as a lead out. So bar 9, let's just do bar 9. Again, see how good it is to break these things down? That's bar 9. One and a 2, a 3, and a 1 and 2, a 3, and a. Okay, if you're a tongue blocker, well, I tongue block some of this. You can tongue block it all. Okay, I do some tongue blocking on it. Okay, let's do bar 10. Looks like 4 draw bend twice, 4 blow, 3 draw bend, that half step bend, 4 blow, and that same 3 draw bend. Dun, 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 dun. Now this is going to sound like mush if you don't have a pretty good blue third here, because you're really holding it for a while. Okay, let's do bars 9 and 10 together. And you know what you find with this stuff is the more you really lean into it, the more it starts to sound the way it's supposed to sound. Okay, one more time. One and 2, 3, and 1, 2, 3, Okay. Bar 11, thank God, is identical to bar 9. And bar 12, thank God, is a little bit easier than bar 10. And back home, the melody takes us right back home to the tonic note, the 2 draw. So bars 9, 10, 11, and 12 sound like this. Hey! Wow, well there we go. That is all 3 parts. Let me play them again. Let me just play them again and kind of make something musical out of them. And if you don't mind, well actually I'll do it acoustic. I won't use my thing. I think, by the way, that this all sounds better if you've got something going in a rhythmic way. Okay, so I'm making a little experiment here. What I'm going to do is I've got a tambourine. Okay. So I'm going to play these 3 parts, and I'm going to hit the tambourine and try to make it into music. Going down south, going down south, going down south, going down south. Uh-oh. Wait a minute. Wait a minute, Adam. Wait a minute. You did some stuff in there that's not on the sheet. Well, that's right. It's time to look in the camera again and fess up. Okay, so, yeah, I did. I played a few things that weren't on the sheet at the very end, right? So that's the thing about a song like this, is there's actually an infinite number of things that you can do. You have to use your taste on them. But so if you start off, what I'm going to encourage you to do as a way of making this your own, I can't tell you how much pleasure there is for you, that waiting for you, if you start with something simple like this and make the simple stuff sound good, and then start to try variations and use your sense of taste and say, do they fit? Do they work? That's all we do. That's all I'm doing. Even after the 33 years I've been playing, I'm still trying new stuff out. I'm using my sense of taste. I'm getting into it, and it's a question of getting the tension between just kind of going with what your heart's telling you to play and having enough musical training that what your heart tells you to play is filtered through your musical intelligence and the discipline of all the chops practice that you've put in, so that you can actually pull it off and it actually sounds good and bluesy. It takes a while to bring all that stuff together, but this is a good place to start. So the first thing is you've got to be feeling, here's my tambourine, you've got to be feeling that beat. And you see, I want to play with both hands. I don't have time to beat on this thing, but you've got to imagine variation. What did I just do? I'll show you that one. Can you hear that? 2, 3, 2, 1 on the draw notes. Good way to get down with a little bit of a flourish. Well, you can hear those last 4 notes, can't you? What are they? Bent 2 draw, up to 2, to 3 draw, to blue third, back to 2. And so that's really, those 4 notes at the end are really what hold the whole thing together. Now that's a nice little variation. Can you do that? That's the 1 draw. Remember, on the A harp, that's a tough note. 1 draw twice. I'm pulling it in with my diaphragm to 1 blow. And then from the 1 blow up to the blue third. So that's a jump from 1 blow to 3 draw with a little bend on 3, down to 2. I'm going to do it slow. Can you figure this out? Well, you know those notes. They're on the sheet. And then bent 4, bent 4 to 3 draw to 2 draw. You know, I'm giving you more than your money's worth. I'm giving you all this free stuff here, and I think I should stop. I should give you a chance to play around with it. But what I'll do before I do is I'm just going to play a little bit, and you'll hear how the song might work. Maybe a little bit of a delay. What do we think about that? And that's just what I've shown you. what you can hear, this is what I wanted you to hear. It took me a while to get to it. What's going on in here is a kind of call and response. And it's really two vocal phrases. Do 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 do. That's one vocal phrase. Do 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 do. At the end of that one phrase, that two-bar phrase, you leave something a little unresolved. And then you do a phrase that sort of responds to it that in the end resolves on the two draw. That's it. Pretty simple, right? That's how this song works. That's the inner logic of this song. Well, sometimes now, maybe you do resolve sort of at the end of that second bar. So maybe you don't always have to leave it in the air. You can do two different things that speak to each other, both of which sort of resolve. But at the end of the 4 bars, it resolves. All right? If I haven't confused you thoroughly, then I haven't done my job as a teacher. Part of what a teacher should do is explain a few things and leave a few residual mysteries to get you practicing hard and trying to figure them out. So that's all for me today. I hope you enjoy this song, and we'll see you again at Modern Blues Harmonica. Bye-bye.